Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Friday, December 4th, 2009. This morning I thought I'd go through a question that came to me in the chatback widget on my website, and that's how to hook up two different UIs to the same domain model. So say you have two user interfaces that you want to have monitoring the same basic data, so that when one changes, the other changes in sync. They may monitor different pieces of data, they may monitor the same pieces of data, but you want them to both remain in sync. Well, here's a simple example. I create a new counter object. This is using the same counter from yesterday. I set the count to 10 so that you can see that I'm opening on it. Open up the UI I wrote yesterday on it, and a different UI that has a slider widget on it. So let's do all of that. And this is because I didn't put a period there, so let's try that again. So here we have our two UIs. Here's the one with the slider, and here's this one. Let's hit add one on this. Notice how the slider's popping up. Let's move the slider around. And notice how that changes. So the two UIs are synced. They're monitoring the same underlying domain model, and they change in tandem. Now, the more important question you're probably wondering is, how does that all work? Well, let's bring the browser into view, and I'll show you. You go here to the counter. This is completely unchanged. This guy is just an instance of this with a count, which is an integer on it. The counter UI is mostly unchanged. We still have things the way they were. The only difference is we have this on method in initialize setting model value colon to a model, and that's because when we start the thing up, by default in initialize, we set the model to be a value holder on a counter. So we just reset it by sending value colon with a new instance. How does that happen? Well, we have a class side on method. Self new on a model and open it. And counter UI2 is an alias, on colon a model, self new on a model, open. On the instance side, we have the same initialize and the same on. So all we've done is made sure that in our on colon method, we set the model to the thing that gets passed in. We make sure the same thing gets passed into both objects, both UIs, and then we open on it. So again, we have our one with the slider. We have this one. We hit the add one. You can see the slider moving. We grab the slider and move it, and you can see that changing down there. And in fact, if I just change this to, say, 60 and tab out, you'll see that even that modifies it. So I'm operating on the same data in both user interfaces. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.